Dead Man's Left Hand, written by S. Pony Hill, read by Drew Grimm. The following transcribed interview was obtained as a result of a Freedom of Information Act request by the Wauhatchie item of the records held by the Wauhatchie County Sheriff's Department regarding the disappearance of Jimmy Ray Buckner. The evidence label is marked Interview of Ducky Brubaker, June 5th, 2024. The Wauhatchie item cannot attest to or corroborate the truthfulness of any statements contained in this interview. This is the taped telephone interview recorded on the 5th day of June, 2024. I am Sheriff Cole Huxley of the Wauhatchie County Sheriff's Department. Could you state your name and age for the recording, please?
Yes, sir. I'm, Donald Aaron Brubaker. I'm 36 years old, inmate number 471298, sir.
Your inmate number ain't necessary, son.
Sorry about that, Sheriff. Bad habit.
But are, you currently locked up?
Yes, sir. East Texas State Prison, Long Unit.
And, you have a name that you're more commonly known by. Is that a true statement?
Yes, sir. Ducky is what I've better been known as around here in Wauhatchie, ever since about elementary school.
All right. Now, the reason we arranged this interview is because you sent word you had some information on Jimmy Ray Buckner. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did, and I do.
And I haven't promised you any favoritism or offered any kind of help regarding your case there in Texas for this interview. Is that correct?
No, sir, you haven't. And I don't need any. I did what I did, and I'm prepared to do the time for it.
I've had witnesses tell me that you and Jimmy Ray were seen together the day of November 22nd, 2022. Is that statement correct?
Yes, sir. They are right about that.
And, that's the same day that Jimmy Ray Buckner disappeared, correct?
Well, later on that night, but yes, sir.
Well, why don't you go ahead and tell me what you know about the case?
Well, first off, I want to apologize to you for not being completely honest with you when you questioned me those 2 times before, sir.
That's okay, son. Water under the bridge. You just relax and tell me what happened.
Well, I just didn't want to get locked up, but it looks like I gone and did that to myself anyways. I caught a 40-year stretch for driving a load of weed up from the border.
That's what they told me.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, Sheriff, that I ended up getting pinched for the very first thing that started this whole mess with Jimmy Ray in the first place.
I'm all ears, son. Go ahead and spill it.
Well, where should I start?
Well, my experience has been that starting off at the beginning is usually the best spot to jump off from.
Right, sir. Makes sense. Well, it all began with me and Jimmy Ray. We was just sitting and having a cold beer with Catfish out in front of the Suwannee Swifty.
You mean Caleb Swan, the old man they called Catfish?
Yes, sir. I guess is that his real name?
Yes. Just keep going, son.
Well, all right. Anyways, we was sitting out in front of the store having a couple cold ones, complaining. That's what we wished we had more money. And Catfish tells us this story about how he used to make big money driving truckfuls of weed up from Texas. Wait, He ain't gonna get in trouble for what I just said, is he?
No, son. Catfish died last year, so you ain't gonna get nobody in trouble.
Oh, dang. I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm sure he appreciates that, son. Now just go ahead and go on with your story.
Right, so after hearing that, of course, Jimmy Ray asked Catfish if he weren't scared of getting jacked up by the law with all that weed, and, old Catfish said he weren't scared in the least, 'cause he had bought some magic from a witch who lived a ways out Deep Branch Ferry Road. Now, I know what you're thinking, Sheriff, but what's this got to do with anything, right? Well, just bear with me and, I'll come in clear as a bell.
It's your dime, Ducky. I'm listening.
Well, you see, Catfish said this magic made him invisible to the police and that, he made the run from Texas to Waxahachie County once a month for 4 years straight without a hitch. And, that got me and Jimmy Ray thinking.
You still there, Ducky?
Yes, sir. I'm still here. I'm just wondering if there's, what do you call it? A statue of liberation for breaking into houses.
You mean the statute of limitation? For breaking and entering in this state, it's 2 years, I believe.
Well, whew, I should be in the clear then. I guess I need to back up a few months and then tell you the whole story. Well, I guess this here is my confession. And me and Jimmy Ray had been perpetrating a whole mess of breaking and entering all over Waxahachie County in those days. You remember when Jimmy Ray was driving a truck for the No. 2 Septic Company?
Mm-hmm. Sure do. If I recall correctly, he got fired after he blew through a stop sign and totaled out the truck, and Rosie Mae's Mustang as well.
Yeah. Jimmy Ray swore up and down that he'd been complaining to the boss about that truck's brakes for a month, and getting fired pissed him off something terrible. Well, anyways, he still had to make a payment on his Harley, and he didn't have no job, so what the hell else was he gonna do? That's when Jimmy Ray talked me into breaking into trailer houses.
I think I may know where you're headed with this.
All due respect, Sheriff, you ain't got no clue where this ended up.
Well, you go ahead and enlighten me then, Ducky.
Yes, sir. Well, there I was, the trailer houses. Now, I know I ain't got to remind you how skinny Jimmy Ray was. I mean, if you got arms the size of spaghetti noodles, you gonna get a nickname like Skeletor, like we called him back in school, you know what I mean? Well, anyways, he had this notion that he could go up under a trailer house, unscrew the bolts at the bottom of the toilet, push it over, slide his skinny butt through that little hole, and, well, by God, if it didn't work.
That was over 24 cases, Ducky. You telling me that was you and Jimmy Ray responsible for those?
I ain't proud of it, Sheriff, but yeah, me and Jimmy Ray did all those. It was a good gig for a while, and we was rolling in money, like one of those rap videos, but, then you got to calling us the Turd Burglars, and, well, that pissed Jimmy Ray off something fierce.
Yeah, I guess that was some reporter's idea of a joke.
Well, it got Jimmy Ray bad fired up, sir. So we started putting those toilets back after we got in and leaving the back doors open so y'all would think we came in that way.
Jeez Louise, Ducky. You guys did the backdoor burglar break-ins too?
Yeah, well, boy, let me tell you what. Getting caught the backdoor burglars after doing all that extra work to get out from under the turd burglar's name. That sure pissed off Jimmy Ray even more. He was chewing nails mad.
I bet he was.
Well, at that point, we was plain ready to give it all up, but that's when we had that cold beer with Catfish, and he told us about the magic that would make us invisible to cops. And, well, as crazy as it sounded, that story lit a fire under Jimmy Ray's butt, and he wouldn't shut up about it till I agreed to go with him looking for that witch.
The one on Deep Branch Ferry Road, right? The one Catfish mentioned?
Well, yes, sir. It didn't take us long to find her shack about half a mile east of the old ferry crossing. And let me tell you, the place was a dang frightful sight. The dry bones and weird weaved vine things hanging from the trees all around this little cabin. It was creepy as shit, Sheriff.
And, that's where this supposed witch lived, is that it?
Yes, sir. But I can't rightly tell you much about how she looked, as she was wearing a long, dirty black dress. It covered her from neck to ankle. And her long black hair was all tangled up and such, and it hung down over her face. If I were to guess, I'd have to say she was part Indian, or maybe a gypsy. Maybe even one of those Malagogans who used to live up north of the lake. If you go looking for her, I'm sure she won't be hard to find.
Well, she does sound fairly unique, that's for sure.
She sure is. Well, Jimmy Ray got to haggling with that witch, telling her he wanted some of that invisible magic that Catfish was bragging about. When she said she had something even better, something that would make a man invisible to more than just the law, would make you invisible to everybody.
Is that right?
Right hand to God, Sheriff. That's when that witch whipped out the ugliest fucking thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was a cut-off hand, all shriveled and dried out, like when you stumble up on a deer carcass that some hunter dumped last hunting season. The fingers on this hand was curled into a fist around this long black candle. Well, I sure didn't like to look at it, I tell you what.
Sounds like some nasty business, son.
Well, it was. It was for sure, Sheriff. And the witch says this hand belonged to a man who was hung to death way back in the olden days. And if we waited till dark and lit that black candle, whoever held the cut-off hand would be totally invisible.
Sounds like she was trying to get one over on you boys, son.
Well, that's what I thought too. She said the only thing we had to be careful of was to mind that candle, 'cause if you burnt it all the way down and you were still invisible, well, you'd stay that way forever. Well, that's the thing, Sheriff. When we got to the cost, that witch said, all we had to do was use the cut-off hand first to, get a snap of baby hair.
A baby?
Yes, sir. Kenny Dale Sanders' baby, to be specific.
Kenny Dale Sanders? Rosie May's husband?
Yes, sir. One and the same. Well, Jimmy Ray half blamed Rosie May for that wreck that got him fired, so he thought it was a fair bit of justice that he got to break into Kenny Dale's double wide as part of the bargain.
But why that baby specifically?
I ain't got no clue. Why wouldn't that witch wash her clothes or brush her hair? She was, just crazy, I reckon.
So I assume y'all took the hand then?
Well, yeah, we sure did. and we followed the witch's instructions to the T. Waited till dark, then drove over to Slash Pine, parked a few lots down from Kenny Dale's double wide, and that's where Jimmy Ray thought it would be smart to test the cut-off hand.
Well, sure. Why wouldn't you?
Well, right. I thought it was a pretty smart thing to do, so right there in my van, Jimmy Ray pulled out his Zippo and he lit that black candle. Sheriff, I swear on my dear granny's grave, Jimmy Ray, he lit that thing and he flat out vanished. I ain't joking. Honest to God. Like you couldn't see him at all. And then he was back. Just like that.
Gone and then back again. Like turning on a light switch off and on, huh?
Yes, sir, exactly. You see, once you put out the candle, you became visible again.
Sure. Makes sense. You keep going, Ducky.
Well, so of course I had to try it too, and I tell you what, it was the strangest thing, Sheriff. Like being wrapped up in swirling shadow and smoke. The whole inside of the van had turned black and white. It sucked the color right out of everything, like one of those old TV shows. And I could see Jimmy Ray still, but he was all black and white too, and I could hear him just fine, laughing and carrying on about how rich we was gonna be. But there was something else. I could hear other voices too.
Other voices, Ducky?
Yes, sir. Whispers. But I couldn't see where they was coming from. It's like they was all around me. I got scared something crazy, so I snuffed out the fire on the candle with my fingers, and everything went back to normal.
You sure that candle wasn't one of them, infused candles with like marijuana or something, son?
No, sir. It was real as I'm sitting here today. I'll drink a cold beer every day of the week and twice on Sundays, but me and Jimmy Ray ain't never messed with no drugs.
All right, relax, son. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume one of y'all took the hand and broke into Kenny Dale and Rosie Mae's trailer.
Yes, sir. Jimmy Ray did. He used a butter knife to get in the back door. He said Kenny Dale was still awake, watching TV, and Jimmy Ray walked right between him and the TV. And Kenny Dale didn't jump up or do nothing but yawn and scratch his butt. Yeah, Jimmy Ray found that baby sleeping in his crib. He snipped off a piece of hair with his folding pocket knife and, well, he walked right out the back door.
That's a hell of a story, Ducky. Why do you think that witch wanted hair from the Sanders baby specifically?
I ain't got no clue, Sheriff. Like I said, she's crazy as a sprayed cockroach.
All right, son, go on.
Well, from there, me and Jimmy Ray, we dang near went crazy ourselves, taking turns with the cut-off hand, breaking into trailer houses, walking right out the front door with expensive jewelry, gaming consoles, even flat-screen TVs.
Wouldn't people see the stuff you were stealing? I mean, floating in the air and such?
Well, that's the thing, Sheriff. As long as the candle was lit, anything you touched or carried in your hands would be invisible too.
Okay, sure, why not? Go on, son.
Well, it was getting dang near daylight by that point, and that black candle was getting really short, so I told Jimmy Ray it was about time to wrap up this whole business. But Jimmy Ray. He done ginned up a greedy streak a mile wide. Why are we messing with these small taters, he said. He came up with the bright idea to break into Pawpaw Sanders' big house.
That's a damn foolish notion as I've ever heard. Ain't y'all heard that Pawpaw's house has one of those newfangled security systems, cameras and such? And I heard he's got more guns than the damn National Guard.
Oh, we knew, Sheriff. And Jimmy Ray knew that for sure. And he didn't give a hoot neither. He said he'd walk right in, and if the alarm went off, old Pawpaw would just think it was a false alarm because he wouldn't be able to see nothing.
Still sounds mighty foolish, son, and dangerous to boot.
Trust me, Sheriff. I said the same damn thing. Tried my best to talk him out of the whole thing. I don't think you got enough time. That candle's looking pretty darn short, Jimmy, I told him. When Jimmy Ray was bound, bent, and determined to get one more big score.
And let me guess, y'all drove over to Pawpaw's house.
Yes, sir. Parked right up next to the iron fence. Jimmy Ray hopped out of the van with that cut-off hand, and that's the last I seen. That's the last I ever seen him.
You think he made it into that house?
Sheriff Huxley, I swear I sat there for at least an hour, waiting for Jimmy Ray to come back. But he never did.
Now I want you to be really clear with me right now, Ducky. Are you telling me you think Pawpaw Sanders killed Jimmy Ray when he caught him breaking into that house?
No, sir. That's not what I'm saying at all. The house lights never came on. I never heard no alarm, and Jimmy Ray never came back. I can only guess that he was still in there, trying to steal stuff when the candle burned out. I think he's trapped somewhere that we can't see him no more.
Ducky, if what you're saying is true...
100% true, sir. Like I said, I swear. I swear on my granny's grave.
Then why did you leave the county within a day or two of me questioning you about Jimmy Ray?
Well, sir, that had nothing to do with you or Jimmy Ray vanishing. Well, not directly, I mean. It wasn't 'cause I had no guilty conscience like some folks have been saying. It was 'cause that witch was out to get me.
The witch?
Yes, sir.
The witch that sold you that severed hand?
Yes, sir. You see, when Jimmy Ray vanished, he still had that lock of hair in his pocket, so I wasn't able to give it to that damn witch to pay for the dead man's hand. I swear, that crazy woman followed me around for days. I'd see her at night, standing in my front yard, or she would be lurking in the shadows when I walked home from the bar. I knew if I hung around, that witch was gonna get me for sure. So I split for Texas, shacked up with my cousin Randall for a spell. I had the worst streak of bad luck in my life, Sheriff. I got desperate, real desperate, and I tried to pull an old catfish dope run. Well, it got me to where I am today.
And, that's all the information you have on Jimmy Ray Buckner's whereabouts?
That's all I know. Honest Injun. I'd swear it on a stack of Bibles, Sheriff. I don't expect you'd be interested in shipping me back up to Wauhatchie so I could testify in person or something. It'd get me out of this dry Texas heat for a day or two.
That it would, Ducky. I don't think that's necessary, though. I do appreciate you taking the time to tell me what you think you saw, though.
Listen, Sheriff Huxley, I'd be much obliged if you could do me a small favor?
As long as it's legal, son, I'd be happy to.
Could you stop in on my mama? Ask her to write me a letter. She's pretty pissed off at me right now, and I'm sure I'd like to hear from her. Hearing from you that I'm being helpful and all, well, that might smooth things over.
I'll do that, Dougie. You take care of yourself now here. You stay clean in there, son.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'll do my best.
End of recording.